It's a special pleasure for me to be joined in studio today by Sinead Marr. So Sinead is a wonderful person. She is a teacher. She is a mum to 5 beautiful kids. And she's here to share her health and fitness journey with us. Now, I'm going to take you back a little bit to the start of this story. So I have known Sinead. We've been in and out of each other's lives probably over the last 15 years, I'd say. So Sinead has taken this fantastic fitness journey. It's been going on for a while. But recently I saw a remarkable short video on Instagram of Sinead balancing on a weight. So the weight was kind of put up vertically. And here she is standing on it doing a one-legged squat. Okay. So as I'm looking at that, so many things flood into my head. And I'm thinking, she is just fabulous, superwoman. I'm so proud of her. The incredible strength, the balance, the mobility, everything that is in that one movement. But of course, and I know how hard she has worked to get to the place that she is now. And then the other thing that struck me and that I'd like to talk about is, when we look at these things on social media and we see a 5-second video or a 10-second video of someone doing something incredible in the fitness or health space, that's all it is. Okay, so, it doesn't share the story and the work and everything that goes into it. And it can do a lot of things. It can, it can be an inspirational thing when we see it, or we can think, well, how will I ever achieve that? Or, other messages that come out on social media, like if I do 15 minutes of this workout, well, I'll have a 6-pack. And most of that is absolutely complete rubbish. And I suppose Sinead is a really good person to tell us the reality behind this story. So, Sinead, after my very long introduction there, you're very welcome to the studio, and thanks a million for coming in to talk to me.
Oh, thanks, Diane. Thanks so much for having me. I'm honestly honoured to be here. It's great. Thanks.
Well, so Sinead, your journey, right? So we've kind of set the scene for that incredible feat that I saw on social media recently. But of course, that's where we are currently. But your journey, of course, started a long time ago.
Started a long time ago. And like I had said to you before, Di, I wouldn't have been exposed to exercise growing up. I didn't come from a household where my parents exercised. I swam a little bit competitively for a couple of years, and then for my teens and my 20s I smoked. I wasn't interested in fitness. I was going out. Fitness wasn't even on the radar for me. I did my travelling, all that. Then I met my husband, who played soccer and football and liked running and would golf. And I just remember I was never in awe of him, but I used to be kind of thinking, why does he do all that? And then he kind of encouraged me to start running a little bit. And then one evening he mentioned a man's name to me, John Bolton, and he said, he's starting a boot camp there across the road. Would you be interested in doing something like that? And I just kind of thought, oh my God, a boot camp. The thoughts of it terrified me. But I went over that evening and I met John and I met you and I met a load of women who were torturing themselves on a football field. But I went there that evening and I pushed myself, and I remember the feeling of looking at those women and thinking, like, how are they doing that? And wanting to come back for more. And I suppose when I say to you, Diane, that you and John honestly changed my life, I don't mean that in a kind of a cringy or it's not a flippant remark. Like, the two of you changed my life. So that was the first day of my new life.
I didn't pay Sinead to say this.
Oh, Dan, why is there a pile of money on? Okay.
But thank you.
Yeah, but you did. And, then, of course, you went on and you had specific strength classes, using the TRX suspension trainer. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into the little studio, the first one that you had. And honestly, for the first time in my life, for somebody who had done every fad diet, who used to consistently hold their tummy in to try and make themselves look thinner, when I was in that room, I was looking at women doing the most amazing things with their bodies, like so strong, and just looking at them going, oh my God, everybody was in fantastic shape, but that's not what got me. It was, I want to be that strong. And I remember chatting to you and John over the months and the years kind of, that followed immediately after, and you'd always say to me, okay, so Sinead, like, what's your goal? And I remember I'd say, well, I want to get down to, 10 stone. And you'd be like, Sinead, that's not a goal. Pick a goal, pick something that you want to achieve, with your training. And then, weight loss will kind of come along with that. And to me, that blew my mind. I was like, but for me, a number on the scales was always my goal.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So then anyway, following on from that, you guys introduced me to hiking, you introduced me to cycling, which I loved, and I kept my strength training the whole way through. And like I would say, a lot of things changed in my life over the years, from losing my mum to getting married to having the children, lots of change, but exercise was my constant, and I suppose it became my comfort. And there was days where I would go to the gym because I wanted a little bit of solitude, and then there was days where I was so lonely, even though I was at home with all the kids, like I was lonely. So I'd go to a TRX class, and
absolutely,
it would totally change my mood. Or some days I'd say, do you know what, I'm going to stay at home with the kids all day today now and spend a whole load of quality time with them, but I wouldn't be in great form. Whereas the days where I would give myself the hour to go and train, I'd come back to my kids and I'd be a different person.
Yeah, totally agree. I can see it in myself as well.
Or like I look back on my mum, like she worked all her life and then she died her first year into retirement. But when I look back, like my mum never took an hour for herself ever. And like that makes me feel sad.
Of course, yeah.
So I know when people say to me, oh God, Sinead, like what are you doing getting up at 6:30 and training and blah, blah, blah. But I just think I want my kids to know that I do that for me. And long after I'm gone, I want them to look back and say, my mum used to take happiness in that hour every day. Because when I look back about my mum, it makes me feel sad. It doesn't make me think, oh my God, she sacrificed so much for me. And yes, she did. And she inspired me in 101 ways. But I actually feel sad that on a daily basis, what did she do for her? So I think it's important for my kids now to see me continue to do that. And look, that video of me on the dumbbell with one leg, Diane, I can honestly, if people say, how did you get to do that? Go back 15 years to that day that my mindset changed. And like that is what has brought me to where I am. Like my love of training, my consistency, it's my constant in my life. You make so many friendships. Like, I mean, how many years did we meet? And we mightn't see each other every day, but I know I could always pick up the phone to you or,
and similarly, when I had my little girl and did not have a clue what I was doing, what was happening, what was going on. And of course, at this stage, I knew Sinead had 5 and I could barely manage 1. So Sinead and I would often meet each other during COVID and we'd have this stretch of road. I had this obviously beautiful little girl, but she had a major discomfort with reflux and all sorts of stuff, and it's just so stressful and de-stressing that you cannot. This child was just crying constantly, can't sleep. It was a difficult journey, and then so obviously for me too, just to get out, and I would bring her in the buggy on the road. Now, of course, she would just scream the whole way around, but look, at least we were out. But I would meet you, and I would see you out running and doing your thing, having had 5 children, and for the few minutes we might say hello to each other, or I'd say, look, Sinead, God, what do you think, is there anything I can try? And it's the support, women supporting each other in these journeys is so important. You, like me, would be very honest about the reality of a situation. And I remember on many occasions when I had my little girl, who I absolutely love, and people would say to me, oh wow, isn't it the best job in the world? And I would think, wow, I'm so delighted if that's what you think, and if that's what you think all day, every day. But I'm sitting here struggling, having not slept in nearly 2 years, for more than an hour or two a night, and finding things difficult, and finding, you can't do the things that you used to be able to do. My life was, I was rarely at home. My poor husband. But all of a sudden now it's complete, there's no more flying off to different countries on a whim to present at a conference or do these things. And it has a massive impact on how you live your life. And anytime I would meet you, you would be very supportive, but in a very real way. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why I'm delighted to have you here today. I know, and anyone who's involved in this area knows, that there's a huge contribution from the nutrition side of things if you want to feel and look a certain way and be strong. And obviously the training, of course, is crucial as well. So we might just, first of all, for the training, Sinead, we might take a look at what your typical week is like.
So at the moment, I'm back working full time. I'm lucky that Paul works from home, but literally with Irish dance and runs, soccer, football, the 101 other things that go on in my life. And
for 5 children.
And then for Paul to get his exercise in as well. So I get up at 5:20 in the morning. I would have made the kids' lunches the night before. Have to do that. I don't like it, but I have to do it. So I make the 5 lunches the night before. I get up at 5:20 in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I never have been, ever. You can ask any of my friends. I was always the last out of bed. Even Paul, would have said to me, God, I've never met anyone who loves their sleep as much as you. But this is what I'm not going to say I have to do. This is what I want to do, because I want to get my training in. So I get up at 5:30. I have something to drink. I get my clothes on. I wake myself up a little bit and I head and I train. So 4 mornings a week I would train in the Powerhouse Gym in Portarlington, where Stephen Mulhall has been taking very good care of me for the past while, just with my lifting and my technique and my form and all of that. And then,
which of course is crucial.
Because good old me would like to go in and lift the heaviest weight I could find in the gym just to say I ticked a box and I did it. But Stephen is teaching me that get your technique right and everything else will follow. You'll never lift heavy if your technique is poor. So the amount of times I hear the words no rep if I don't lift a weight correctly, but it's benefiting me in the long run. So I go in and I train, sometimes with Stephen, sometimes on my own, and then twice a week I go to classes in Portlaoise in CrossFit Unleashed. I'm brand new to that whole area, so I'm really learning as I go. And
of course that's becoming very, very popular, which is great, and people really love it, which is brilliant. But again, just to reiterate that there's a huge amount of technique involved in that. You can't rush it. It's not something that you can just jump into, but it's good to say that here, because sometimes, again, if you're just looking at social media and stuff, it looks as simple as, well, I just show up and do it, but there's a lot of work involved in the technical side of it.
A lot of work, and I have to say that the trainers over there, like CrossFit is for everybody, and
of course,
definitely accessible to everybody, but they're very mindful of how much you do and what you can do and what you can't do, and it's a slow process. You go in and it's inspirational in a way, because you're looking at people doing these amazing things, gymnastic movements, lifting heavy weights with flawless technique. Everybody is unbelievably strong mentally and physically. Like, it is inspirational to be in a room like that, and I have to see it that way. I can't feel that these people intimidate me, because that's not what they want to do, and it's not what I'm going to take from the class. So I go over there and I'm inspired every day. And when I say that I am taking baby steps in the world of CrossFit, they're baby steps. And I suppose this would be my latest avenue. But my bread and butter is the gym. It's dumbbells, it's barbell, it's a little bit of cardio, and it's a minimum of 4 days a week. I probably train, in fairness, 5 to 6 days. I've had to build in rest days. I've been told, they are just as important.
They're essential,
Essential. So that's kind of that's my life at the moment.
Yes, so yes, absolutely. Now the other side of it is the nutrition side. Which is as important. I again will say this, Diane, that when I was training years ago, and I was getting fitter and I was getting stronger, but I actually wasn't. I didn't have
the physique, let's say, of somebody who trained as hard as I did.
Yeah.
And there was some sessions I'd go in and I would actually just feel weak at the end of them. And I remember one time I said to you, like, Diane, do you know, I'm eating however many calories a day. I think it was something like 1,200. And you were like, Sinead, did it ever dawn on you that you're not eating enough? I was like, excuse me, nobody has ever said that to me before. You know, here I am exercising, working my backside off, and now you're going to tell me to eat more food. You know, I was kind of like, surely that is counterproductive. But I remember you said, look, just increase your calories by about 300 calories every single day. And like, you know, as a woman, from the everything that you're exposed to in the world of diet and fitness, it's, you know, 1,200 calories or be in a calorie deficit,
Rubbish.
Fine.
Yeah.
But then I was training so hard.
Yes.
So when I increased my calories, I remember after about 6 weeks, I looked different. And I remember I had to go down. I went down to your studio actually, and John was just recording a little piece of me on a bike. We were doing like the VO2 tests and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember he showed me footage of that, and I, for a split second, didn't recognise myself. And that was because at that point I had worked my way up to eating about 2,400 calories every single day, double what I had been eating before. But my body needed it.
Of course. And I bet you, obviously you were saying your shape started to change.
Totally.
But I bet you the quality of your training improved, which meant you were able to do more and get more out of it. Recovery much better, feeling stronger. Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Crucial.
And even in the gym I'm in now, Stephen's fiancée Neve, who would be there, she would often check in, you know, and just say, you know, how's your nutrition going and everything, because she knows as well it's so important to eat enough for what you're doing.
To fuel. This is the thing. Nutrition obviously has, as Ruth has been talking about for the last number of weeks, it's so important for health. But when it comes to training, if you want to train well and get good results and feel strong and recover quickly and have enough energy and vitality for life outside of training,
100%.
it is absolutely crucial that you're eating enough, that you're eating the right type and good quality food.
Yeah, 100%. I even remember you on some of these hikes or cycles we'd go on. I could literally see you eating anything. There might be scrambled eggs with peanut butter, berries and maybe a slice of bread, and I'd be like, you know, what is she at? But it would literally be because you needed certain food groups, and you said to me that day, I actually don't care what this tastes like, don't mind me, I just know that I need to eat this stuff. And again, my mind was blown. I was like, where does that, and you might finish off with an ice cream, and I'd be there going, right, but now that makes perfect sense. Like sometimes I'd eat an omelette quickly if I was on the go, and I'd have brown bread with peanut butter because I just know
the composition is what you need for you're fueling up for particular types of sessions, and then you're recovering after sessions. But I've often seen the look of what is she eating. But I'm so glad that came out on air. Thanks, Sinead.
Sorry, just one of those images that's burnt in my brain.
Oh wow, I bet you're delighted you really did meet us all those years ago. Sinead, I could genuinely talk to you forever, because what I really love about you is that you tell the reality of the situation, which is actually what's most important for anyone who's struggling in this area.
Yeah.
So just as a final thought, do you have any kind of top tips or advice for anyone who is sitting at home, they're strangled, you're probably doing too much training, probably under eating, just getting nowhere, and just feeling that, you know, that horrible feeling of it doesn't matter what I do, I'm getting nowhere with this. Have you any advice for people in that space?
I would just say to you, you know, that everybody has so much stuff going on in their life at the moment, but the most important person and thing in any situation is you.
Yes.
You've one body, you know, you get one chance at this. So I get it. You're busy, you're tired, you've got kids, you've worked full time, your husband doesn't get in till 8 o'clock at night. Find a window, find it, take out the word have, I have to exercise, and change it to I want to exercise. And when you change it to you want to do it, and do it for you, and don't feel guilty about that.
Yes.
Find your window. For me, 6:30 in the morning. Other times it was 9 o'clock at night. Find your window. Do what you can. But don't underestimate yourself. You are so much stronger than you think, and I know that from experience. In every way, you're so much stronger than you think. And when everything gets on top of you, just remember there's a whole lot of you to give. Find your window, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you can give yourself, and give it to yourself. Not I have to, not I should, not I need to. I want to, and I deserve to be able to.
Well, on that note, Sinead, I want to thank you so much for your time, and I really look forward to following your journey, and I know that this will be helpful to a lot of people, so thank you so much.
Thanks, Di. It was an absolute privilege. Thanks.